So today we're going to be talking about the trap of perfectionism and how to break free and truly own your power. And so if you're a woman who's ever put something out into the world, leader, an entrepreneur, in the corporate world, it could be your work, it could be your ideas, it could be your heart, and basically you were only met with crickets. No applause, no recognition, just silence. Or worse, criticism that hits you like a punch to your gut. Your chest tightens, your stomach knots, your mind races, seeking for every single possible mistake or flaw. And suddenly it's no longer about your work, it's about you. And you start feeling like you are a failure. So what do you do? Are you the kind of woman who vows never again to expose yourself to such criticism without the armor of even more perfection? Or do you fight tooth and nail, defending, explaining, justifying, as if every single shred of your worth were on trial? So why do you do this? Why does feedback feel like a personal attack? Why does it feel as if someone has taken a knife to your very soul? If you've ever felt physically sick at the thought of not being enough, simply because something didn't go as planned, I want you to know I see you, I hear you, I've been there. Here is what I now know about perfectionism. Perfectionism is not about excellence. I used to think that excellence and perfectionism were the same thing. They are not. What I know to be true today is that perfectionism is about protection. It's about building walls around your heart so that you never have to feel the sting of shame and rejection. It's about controlling every single external detail so you don't have to feel as if you're completely out of control. But where you have your focus actually on avoiding pain, guess what happens? You have no room for growth and no space for excellence. Because to grow, it is important that we move beyond our comfort zone. It's important that we go move beyond the known. And if no one can input, then how can we grow? And I learned this the hard way. I mean, there was actually a time when I used to say in my head, my manager is going to have nothing to say about this. My goal was to avoid any form of what I perceived as criticism instead of inviting external feedback, which could only have improved. And although I've done years of work, the other day, something hit me really hard. You see, I'd launched this program and it had been going really well. Flawless launches, everything going well, happy clients, incredible transformations. And then the tech gremlins came out. One client couldn't access the portal. And although she was really polite about it, I could feel her frustration. And inside, something stirred. That familiar whisper. She's disappointed in you. You should have done more. You should have done better. My inner critic had sharpened its knives, ready to attack. But before I went on that horrid experience of self-bashing, I paused, I tuned in, and I said to myself, I am worthy, I am enough, I am flawsome. One of the biggest mistakes that perfectionists make is this misguided belief that in order to be awesome, in order to be accepted, in order to be loved, you need to be flawless. And flawlessness is not a human condition. And so to live as a human and to experience deep, meaningful connection and to be able to be resilient in the face of adversity or life's challenges, which sometimes completely blindside you, it's essential to be able to see, one, accept, two, our flaws. Because when you can see your flaws and you're able to radically accept your flaws, then this is the moment at which transformation is possible. Transformation into wisdom, which doesn't negate the fact that you have the flaw, but wisdom, which supports you in navigating life with more grace and maybe even helping others so they don't have to suffer as long as you did. So the very flaws that you may be hiding, suppressing, and resisting may be a beautiful gift, not only for yourself to see wisdom, but for you to give value and support humanity. And when I said those words to myself, I am enough, I am worthy, I am flawsome, I realized I wasn't the problem. She wasn't the problem. This was an invitation, an opportunity to face old ghosts of self-doubt and to let them go. To stop giving so much weight to the process and to start trusting my ability to create transformation regardless of tech, logistics, or perfection. It was time to shift from Newtonian to quantum, from proving to embodying, from doubting to believing in myself. And do you want to know what happened once I made that shift inside of myself? The tech issue completely resolved. And how did it happen? My energy shifted. When I said those words and I believed them, my shoulders dropped. I could feel my body relax. I could just sense my breath deepen. I was no longer in latent anxiety. I was trusting. I was calm. I was no longer fighting for worthiness because I knew I was already worthy. And so that tech issue resolved because when you shift your energy, then the world will shift. So I want you all to remember this. No matter what may be going on at the moment, remember that you are enough. And your work does not need to be flawless in order for you to be extraordinary. So the next time shame comes knocking, because knock it will, take a breath, tune in, ask yourself, is this a problem or is this an invitation? Is this something to resist or is this something to explore? Is this a call for self-bashing or is this a call for self-acceptance? Because shame in itself is not something to be ashamed of. Shame is actually an invitation to accept yourself. So you already know the answer as to whether you're going to look at it as a problem or invitation, something to resist or something to explore, and something to self-bash yourself about, or something to accept yourself. And I share this because perfectionism is crippling. It's what creates overworking, bending yourself backwards, hiding in shame, playing small, not daring to be creative, not sharing your ideas, creating and putting it in a shelf, etc., etc. Not raising your hand when there are promotions, thinking you have to do even more when you're totally qualified. So perfectionism keeps you small. It keeps you out of your essence. It's the ego's way of finding control, of finding some form of safety. If we could really understand that underneath perfection or perfectionism is shame, then we would work on that true self-love and acceptance. And once that is truly there, then perfectionism's grip on you will be loosened. If anything I've said today has resonated, if you know someone that this could resonate or support, I would love you to share this with them. If you liked what I said and you have a story about perfectionism, then drop it in the comments. And if you'd love to know more, either subscribe to my YouTube channel, if that's where you're listening, or to my LinkedIn newsletter for more of this type of content. My name is Bolu TV. I'm a next level living coach, and I support women leaders and entrepreneurs step into expansion with joy, love, vitality, and fulfillment. I would love to hear what you have to say about perfectionism. Love and light.